It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
It's the it's the Pete Sousa Show. What's happening? Pouring a little out for the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. Losing game 3, a pivotal game 3 at the Pacers. We'll get into that shortly. Hold on, who's your daddy now? Okay, just hang on. He couldn't wait. He could not wait. Obviously, Scotty Swingler is here again today, making his presence known early on, as is Slovacics. Oh, look at this, Scotty. This is a deluge to start it off. Scotty B, the Baylor King. The Pacers are not backing down, Scotty B. And we will talk about that. And Scotty S is excited. And Pete S saw a great game last night. And much like, now the narrative, I hate narrative, but now it's all about, I'm a real basketball fan if I'm watching this series, because the ratings are down because the soft, non-hardcore basketball fan that's looking for more of the flowery storyline or the LeBron James narrative. Here we have these two franchises, in middle America that they have two emerging stars, like it or not. And last night, Indiana made you think they had 3 or 4. But the series is 2-1, and we're going to talk about it in a second. Let's just do some business here. Slovacics, of course. We mentioned them already. Thank you so much for Ray and the gang being a part of it. Stop by Slovacics. Socorro Family Ford, of course, is not far from Slovacics. So you have a little food, you chow down. Why don't you go ahead, go across the street, think about a car. If you're thinking about a car, go ahead and buy one. Buy one from Socorro Family Ford. I can promise you'll have a pleasurable experience. Crawford Austin Properties, of course, Extraco Bank, First National Bank of Central Texas, and Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. They are our people, and they put on for our city here, right? All right, I'll stop doing stuff like that, I promise. Okay, NBA Finals. Last night's game, Indiana, it was one of those deals where, and this has happened to me as a fan so many times in my life, and it really shows how we can be swept up in just an overall wave of coverage and opinions about a certain team, topic, or series or sport. And it almost becomes illogical that something other than that could happen. And what I'm talking about is Oklahoma City. I figured after they won game 2, it was going to be, I figured in the middle of game 2, they were going to win 4 straight. I really did. And I talked about it on my show on Sunday night. We did from Hawaii that I felt like the Pacers were, they had nothing left in the tank. I felt like they'd emptied it out in that first game, much like the Sixers did in 2001 against the Lakers when they won game 1. Look, I was wrong. And this also reminds me of another series when in 2004, Kobe's Lakers losing to Detroit in, I think it was 5 games. And it was the very end of the Shaq Kobe run. It was a 2003-2004 season. And I think the Lakers tied it at one game apiece. Kobe hit an amazing 3 or long jumper at the end of game 2 in LA. And then Detroit won 3 straight, or 3 of the next 4. And it was one of those deals where I remember thinking, man, before this series, everybody had the Lakers in a lock. Even after game 1, they did. Even when it was tied 1-1, they did. I'm seeing the same sort of thing play out here right in front of us. And you got to give Tyrese Halliburton credit, and here's one of the reasons why. We'll bring Scotty in here shortly because we know he's always excited to talk about Tyrese. But the bottom line is winning the game. And the Pacers won last night. And, Tyrese said after the game, and I appreciate this because he was asked about the critics, right? People that, say stupid stuff like he's not a superstar. Oh, wait, is that's some of us over here, right? But he says, honestly, I could care less. What do they know about basketball? He was asked about the critics last night after the game. Look, I understand that. I appreciate that. And that is a very honest, succinct question/statement because the truth of the matter is when you start to get a guy like Halliburton is proving to be a winner. And again, I'm not going back on what I said yesterday. I don't think the guy's like one of the best players in NBA history like Scotty does. Scotty thinks he is basically on the Mount Rushmore of the NBA. Scotty, honestly, with Jerry West passing, Scotty wants to see if we can get Halliburton doing the doing the choke sign for the next NBA logo on the jerseys. But no, I think it shows that even if you defer and your team wins, you've done an amazing job, right? That speaks so much to how winning is basically everything. And we were talking about this yesterday. If Michael Jordan dishes to John Paxson in that first series against the Lakers, which they win in Game 5, and Paxson drains that J, solidifying the Bulls' victory, and that was Game 5, by the way. So the Bulls would have 2 more tries after that. But it's one of those ball bouncing your way type deals or an esteemable act that builds belief. Jordan finds Paxson. Paxson buries the jumper. That was the Bulls' first championship, and it's lodged in the biggest superstar in the league's mind, and also in his teammates' mind that he trusts us. And then we saw it happen several more times, right? Now, if Paxson misses that shot, maybe the team doesn't even go on to win the finals, and maybe we don't have the next opportunity that comes, I think, and this is probably 5 or 6 years later when Steve Paxson hits a huge three in 1990, or Steve Kerr hits a huge three in 1997 against Utah. And we're seeing that from Halliburton when the Pacers win. You can't find anything wrong with their star's performance when his team wins, unless he's totally absent, which Halliburton was not last night. Scotty, go ahead. What do you got? I can tell you're Jones in here. By the way, did I mention we have Jana Van Gytenbeek coming up in our next segment?
That's going to be great.
She's a superstar.
She's awesome.
She's
Cool. So I asked you point blank yesterday, and I know the series ain't over. I mean, Oklahoma City very much could still win this thing.
For sure, dude.
But I asked you. I said, if Halliburton, if they win this series,
yes,
they beat SGA, they beat the best team in the NBA to do this. They've already beaten the Cavs, Celtics, Knicks. They do this. He's a superstar. And you said, yes, absolutely. And it sounds like today now you're like, well, I guess he kind of gets there because his team won, not accounting for the fact that he had 22, 11, and 9 last night, shooting 50% from three.
Yes. Look.
Like, he's playing lights out basketball, and we still want to hold him to the fire because he's not scoring 30 points. SGA, I think, had 24 last night.
Yeah, he did. Well, but SGA has had 25 points 15 times or more in the play. He's averaging 33 points.
I said yesterday, and I said last week when I talked about the series, SGA is going to outscore Halliburton by a lot. Like, that's how he plays. But that doesn't make, like again, I'm a broken record. Just because you score a bunch of buckets doesn't mean you're a superstar, and it doesn't mean you're a great player. Assists matter. Defense matters. Rebounds matter. I love that Halliburton in the press conference last night, they asked him about what got him to play so much better last night, and he talked only about his defense.
Yeah.
He talked about how he was guarding SGA and what he did in game 2 and how he adjusted in game 3 to slow him down.
Well, and let me tell you something. We are seeing that from the Pacers as a team.
Big time.
Miles Turner had a poor performance offensively last night and was totally locked in on defense all night long. And one of the things we saw, and I tipped the cap to Rick Carlisle here, they wore Oklahoma City out. If you were watching that game, and I'm not like, I don't ever pretend to be Ryan Russillo sitting at home with my ledger, like taking notes and breaking down film. I know who I am, right? And until I get a job in a front office or on a coaching staff, I probably won't be doing that. But I do appreciate all the work that Russillo puts in, and he's super knowledgeable. But I am not to that level. However, I could tell that the Pacers were trying to wear down Oklahoma City, in particular, Shai Gilgeous, and it worked.
It worked.
At the end of the game, Shai Gilgeous was hands on his knees. He was out of gas, and it was very, very clear that the Pacers made a concerted effort. I noticed this early on in the game because we talked about their lack of aggression. They went right at Oklahoma City, and it's not like, they went to punch the bully in the mouth, because in today's game, there's so many threes and there's, I don't want to say finesse, but
no, it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of out of the perimeter, out of the paint basketball, and but they were so quick with their tempo that they wore OKC out. It's not like they were going in the lane, like I said, and punching them in the mouth, but up and down, up and down, up and down. One thing I'll mention, it's and it's not like a Mike D'Antoni 8 seconds or 7 seconds or less type deal.
No.
But, Mike D'Antoni was a guy, like if a guy stole a ball from you, right, and he went down the court and he was going to get an easy layup and you fouled him, Mike D'Antoni didn't want you to foul him.
Right.
Because that would slow the pace of play. Now, I'm not saying that Indiana was that extreme last night, but there was an intentional move to let's go. The ball goes through the hoop, let's right away. You know what I mean? Like, we are fast and we are going to wear them out, and it worked.
It did.
I thought it really worked.
And I want to be fair to SGA. The thought did cross my mind, and it's unfair. It's unfair. Yeah. But the thought crossed my mind last night because the Thunder, until that last minute, were within 5, within 4. Like, they were within striking distance. And I kept going, and SGA was gassed. And I was like, that's what he's like at the end of games.
That
doesn't look anything like what Tyrese Halliburton, and that's not fair to SGA.
But it's a great point, Scotty.
But it did cross my mind of again, if it who do you want taking the final shot in this series?
Yeah.
Who do you trust most to make a play in the clutch? Who do you trust most in the final minute to not turn the basketball over?
Yeah.
It's all Tyrese Halliburton. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about Tyrese Halliburton's legacy and resume and what this could do for him.
Yeah.
what does a Pacers series win do for Rick Carlisle? And I asked that, and I had deep research done by ChatGPT here.
That's great.
Do you know how many head coaches have won an NBA championship with multiple franchises?
That's a great question.
I had to look it up. So it's,
I mean, I know you got Phil Jackson,
Yes.
for sure. Larry Brown did not do it.
Nope.
Pat Riley.
Yes.
Is that it?
There's one more. I had Alex.
Oh, hold on. Who is it?
Alex Hannum.
Oh gosh, Alex Hannum.
Yep,
He's a Philly guy.
St. Louis Hawks,
Yeah.
and then the 76ers. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So 3. So Carlisle could be the 4th coach
Yeah.
to ever win an NBA championship with multiple franchises.
Yeah.
And I would argue, because you know how I feel about the 2011 Mavericks. I think that run, they ran through Kobe, Durant, and Westbrook, and then the Heatles consecutively, like 4-0, 4-1, 4-2. Like, I think it's one of the best playoff runs ever. You could argue Rick Carlisle, if he wins this series, has won 2 championships with teams that had no business winning those championships.
You very much could.
I think his status as an all-time head coach could be massively elevated. It might be massively elevated even if they don't win the series. But certainly if they win the series, he is really in elite company.
Well, and especially a couple things to add to your point. When you consider the mental part of it, this team was a play-in team a third of the way into the season, right? They were hoping they would make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
Halliburton was coming off an injury. There were some things going on, yeah.
But there's also a mental component to that too, to stay the course, to block out the noise. And clearly, again, like we're all talking about Oklahoma City's defense, but last night we saw from Halliburton, we saw from Turner, we saw how and you know, of course you want these guys to be engaged. They're playing in the NBA Finals, but there was a connective tissue that defense shared that really was, I think, overwhelming. For SGA, who still had another great game where he scored 24. I have a question for you. First of all, to answer your question, I think it is a huge statistic and note that you just gave, because sometimes in today's society we need a quick note like that to kind of grab us and say, hey, this guy's one of the best. You know, he'd be the 4th guy ever to do this and God bless Alex Hannum.
And the first,
I
and the
actually
first
know
is
who
Phil
he is 'cause he's
Jackson.
from Philly. Yeah. But those other 2 guys are like, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that does cement his status as a historic coach in the NBA.
Yep.
I think you're 1,000% right.
Yep.
On the other side, something about SGA I wanted to ask you. And today, you know, we talked with Murph yesterday about the PGA or the U.S. Open teeing off this morning and Scotty Scheffler. We are watching, and even with last night's loss, again, SGA's numbers in the playoffs have been ridiculous.
Remarkable.
When I went back and looked at his game log,
Remarkable.
I was like, good God.
Yeah,
Every time it's 33, 40,
Yeah.
28. I
Yeah.
mean, that's all it is.
He's a bucket machine.
Yeah. But he's so under the radar, like Scotty Scheffler. I don't know that we have had 2 stars dominating at the same time like this that nobody cares about. I mean, I care.
Yeah.
You care.
I do.
But
yeah.
the overall, I mean, literally, Scotty Swingler got arrested last year.
Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah,
Scotty Swingler.
Scotty Scheffler got arrested before the PGA last year. And that's like the most interesting thing that's happened to him.
Yeah.
And wasn't even that interesting. It's like we moved on and forgot about it.
Yeah.
You know, I think like, and I don't know if it's because of his, I think for SGA, it really is where he is in the country. I think if he was on, I really do believe if he was on a different team.
And here's the other difference, and I'm not besmirching your point because I think it's a great observation.
Yeah.
The other difference would be Scotty Scheffler is clearly the best golfer in the world today.
Yes.
And as I mentioned to you, I think there's 4 basketball players with a legitimate claim to that.
Okay.
I mean, you could say SGA is the best player in the NBA, and I'd say sure, yeah. But I mean, you can say that about Jokic, you could say that about Giannis, you can say that about Luka.
Okay.
I don't know that there's another golfer you could say is the best in the world right now other than Scotty Scheffler.
No, you can't, but he's still living in obscurity almost.
Yeah.
You know, like Scotty Scheffler walks into a bar, not a lot of people are going to be like, that's Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
You know,
which, by the way, isn't that dreamy though? If you're like making money in the top of your game, but you're not harassed all the time in the public.
For most normal people,
that's probably a dream for him. Honestly,
you're exactly
honestly.
right. Yeah. That you're exactly right. What did you think about the quality? Did you watch the game last night?
I didn't. I started my new second job last night.
Oh, you did? How'd it go?
Yeah. It was fun. It was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Do you remember everything?
What do you mean?
Like when you go and you do the specials. Like, do you remember all the specials?
Oh, I'll get there. But it was my first night training at a new place. So
the first night is always.
I was trying to be a what
Were
do
you
they call it?
nervous?
There's like a fire hydrant. I wasn't nervous. It's
I would have been.
It's kind of like old hat.
Yeah.
So for viewers, I'm going back to serving tables, and I haven't done that in 8 years, and it's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. So you're
first hour and a half, I was kind of getting the feel of
Yeah.
the place and the people. People were cool. Place is nice.
Yeah.
2 hours in, I'm like, okay, it's a
Yeah.
bike. It's riding a bike. Like, you just gotta learn where everything is. And
So
how
you're
everything
better
works.
with your hands and stuff like me. Like you're over there, like with all your like barbecuing and all that stuff. Like
I do barbecue, yeah.
Yeah, big time. You got to check out. What was the segment?
Oh, I did last week the Texas Barbecue Field Guide.
Yeah, that was.
I
Pretty
gave
amazing.
you 4 rules. 4 rules. If you just want to, if you're in a random Texas town and you're like, I don't know how to find good barbecue, you follow those 4 rules, you're safe. If you break any of those rules, you're probably screwed. You're gonna get bad.
That's
barbecue.
such a good video. I think we need to promote that so people
Do it.
so it
Promote it,
goes
man.
across
Let's do it.
people's
Hey,
timelines.
can I show you?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Bear the Truth. He said he loves my hat. This is a Cricket's Bar and Grill here in Waco. They have a second location in Lubbock. We don't have to talk about that.
Oh,
one,
they
though.
do?
They do. Yeah. The other one's in Lubbock.
Wow.
Hey, I wanted to bring this up before we wrap up the
Finals.
the finals and get to
JVG.
to our great guest. I sent you a statistic this morning that plays into a narrative we've been promoting on this show for a few weeks. Did you know, dear viewer, the Indiana Pacers are 8-0 in this playoff when one Caitlin Clark is in attendance at the game? They are 8-0. Caitlin is not just magic on the court; she's magic off the court, dude. They're 8-0. Look at her doing the choke sign.
Well, and I can tell you something.
So good.
You want to know one of the things why she's so cool, and I'll go ahead and like dig into my experience. So 8 times she's been at Pacers games, right, this season.
The playoffs. That's
In
just
the playoffs. In the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to correct me if I was wrong. She hasn't done one interview during a game.
No, because
that's who she is.
Yes.
I told you the story. We were doing an NIT game. It was at Iowa, Kansas State. Jerome Tang at Iowa.
You did tell the story, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I did
share
tell
it again though. Yeah, it's good.
So we were like, hey, it was on like big ESPN. So it's like we'll be able to like, we had a really good producer. Hey, Caitlin Clark is going to be here because her team, Iowa, was hosting the first round of the NCAA tournament. This is women's basketball 2023, I guess. And she was there, and it was like a no-brainer. We'll get an interview. And she was like, no. And they were like, look, she legit does not want to take away from the moment that the men are experiencing at all now. I believe for her to still have that awareness, I think it speaks to really her understanding, and see if you follow me here, of the power that she has now. Like, if she does an interview during the game, that will become a story somehow or another. And like, there's probably 2 things at play here. And again, this is all speculation, but like, one, she's humble and she doesn't want to get involved in doing interviews during the NBA Finals where the Pacers are being celebrated. But 2, it's probably just a pain in the ass for her. Like,
dude.
To do that interview and like, maybe it'll be like dissected, or maybe the Pacers lose that game, so then they're 8
and
and
now that she's set those boundaries, it makes it easier for her to go and just enjoy being at the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the story is, look, she did the choke thing at Tyrese and it was awesome. It's not about what she said or what she was wearing. It's like, dude, here's just another superstar enjoying a game.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like Chalamet being at all those Knicks games. It's like, oh, there's a famous cool person that's really into this game.
So it wasn't Kylie Jenner that was doing it for you?
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what about I think Kylie Jenner dated Bad Bunny and they sat him like was that something that was happening?
I'm out of the loop on that.
Come on, bro.
I'm out of the loop.
Yeah,
on
I'll catch you up. I'll catch you up after the show. All right, we're gonna step aside. We're gonna come back with Jana Van Gytenbeek talking women's sports. We're gonna continue to celebrate women's sports. Also want to check in with Jana about what exactly is going on with her recovery. It sounds like it's going really well, listening to Nikki Collin a couple days ago. So we'll be back after this. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics, comes back after this.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gytenbeek. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gytenbeek makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gytenbeek. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoalUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
There she is, for her fourth year at Baylor, at a Cherry Creek High School. Can you believe you're coming back for your fourth year? Jana Van Gytenbeek, by the way. Everybody knows who she is.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. No, I can't believe it. I got like a whole nother college experience, 4 more years. Grateful, happy to be here. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. So you're in town right now. Did you guys practice yesterday or
Yes.
the day before?
Yeah, we've been practicing all week. Today we have an off day, so that's good. But yeah.
And we're back to the dark hair. What inspired the change? Tell us about that.
I've been wanting to do it for a while because my natural hair is dark, and I just decided I was gonna do it. I don't know.
Looks good. It's popping. Yeah, it looks good. So you've pulled it off once again, and you're pulling off a successful rehabilitation right now. Coach Collins said she was talking to the press, I guess, 2 days ago, and she was excited about your progress. Said it's been going really well, and that I guess there's a magical 9-month mark, right, where you're coming off of what was exactly the injury?
I tore my ACL, and that's
so you're coming off an ACL tear before last season. You missed pretty much the whole year, played in half a game. And so at 9 months, you're supposed to be back in 100%. That's kind of how I understood it. Is that what it is?
Yeah, so typically ACL recovery is 9 months to a year or 2 years, just depending on the person. I've been so lucky to have the greatest care of all time. And so every single day I've worked at it. I'm coming back. I was like, I'm going to try to come back in 6 months. But yeah, I am doing well. I need to watch that video that Nikki, or it was on Sikkim or something like that.
Yeah, it was. And she's just the best. When she talks about it's almost like therapy plus basketball 101. She's really, really cool.
She does it all.
Yeah, she does do it all. Now, is she helpful? That house settlement comes down. Now, this is something I would imagine with dudes like David Kay and people like that at Baylor, they have really prepared you for this moment. Probably, I would think, over the course of the last year. Your coach was a head coach in the WNBA, so she sort of has a feel for that already, salary cap or whatever. But as a player, first of all, how did you guys find out that it was officially going down?
Well, somebody in the athletic department at Baylor sent out an email to all of us and said, it finally was approved, X, Y, and Z. This is what it's going to mean for us. And we've been getting follow-up emails. The communication has been really good because a lot of people don't even know what the settlement means for them specifically, depending on what sport you are. But I think that Baylor and the administration is doing a really good job of keeping us all in the loop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, the people like David Kay and Coach Nikki, even, she explains these things to us. She knows all about it, the professionalism that comes with it. Now it's okay, are we going to make contracts? Are we going to be treated like this is our job? And if you're late to practice, minus $1,000, something like that, Yeah. And obviously we're really grateful for the case settlement, or the house settlement. It's tough because for different sports, it means different things. And it just is what it is. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that. At a moment where, women's sports is on fire right now. I mean, I had the opportunity calling the Big 12 softball tournament. You see Nyjah Kennedy, the young woman who's, $1.5 million NIL deal for Texas Tech. Just amazing. Amazing, wow. But she delivered, right? I mean, you could say, Jana, those ratings for the Texas Tech Women's College World Series were the best they've ever had. Mm-hmm. So she's earning ESPN a lot of money. She's earning the school a lot of money. It all makes sense. They're getting a return on investment there. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And obviously we're always talking about women's basketball on this show. Whenever we talk about Caitlin Clark, everybody gets excited and is always watching. But then this house settlement, do you feel like it is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is it a bummer as a women's athlete? Do you feel like, man, maybe we're not going to get the resources that we were on track and had been getting?
I don't think so. I think it's going to continue to change. And I think now with women's sports having so much power and going in the direction that it is going, that we will be prioritized. I know, especially the revenue generating sports will be, and then eventually things will come along. Yeah.
I would say, and honestly, women's basketball sort of, I think, is on the right side of that. Of course, we could talk forever about Olympic sports and how that affects them, but there will be, Baylor women's basketball is a power four, it's a blockbuster event when people go to see you guys play. Yeah. There's a ton of excitement around the team. And I do want to talk to you about next year. You're coming back 4th year at Baylor. Again, like we said, time flies.
I'm a grandma.
Isn't it crazy?
Yes. I can't believe it, honestly.
So you're now one of you've always kind of been a leader, But now you're legit one of the leaders, like coming back. You're one of 3 players, I think, coming back with 4 years. A lot of turnover on the coaching staff, too, for good reasons. People move on and whatever. But, like, how do you approach that this year, being a leader on this team?
Leading is something that I want to do. We have a really great opportunity this year. Coach Nikki runs things really well, and for her to trust me to kind of be her voice on the court is, I'm honored to do that for her. I want everybody to work as hard as they can. I want us to do it for the right reasons. I want us to be grateful. Those are things that I'm always gonna like push upon my teammates. And I'm excited, and I feel like I work really hard and want to be able to do that.
When do you circle, like, what on the calendar is a date where you say, I'm going to be 100% and I'm going to be ready to go?
I wish I had an answer for that, but I am in the final stretch. I think I'm about 6.5 months post-op right now.
Okay.
So
2.5
getting
months.
closer. Yeah, pretty much. If all goes well. And yeah.
And it's interesting too, Jana, because your team needs point guard play. They need guard play, right? Like, you can score, but obviously you can also hold the keys to the offense. You guys lose 400 turnovers between, I think, Sarah Andrews and Jada Coleman. Like, you know, it's not only important that you lead off the court, but like, you're really needed. You know, you're a 5-star recruit. You're a superstar talent. You really are one of the quickest guards in the country. You know, how do you plan on, you know, coming back and leading on the court with a bunch of, like, you know, there's new pieces, but people are going to look to you to hold it down, you know, with the ball as well as off the court?
Yeah, on the court, I think, you know, I'm a pass first player. I'm a communicator. So on the court, I'll be, you know, I'm talking all the time. I'm trying to get people open. Defensively, same kind of thing. And now that I know the system so well, because I've been here for 4 years, it will come more naturally to me. And yeah, I'll just bring the energy all the time.
What's it like for you now? You know, again, Central Texas has become a home for you, right?
I love it here.
I know. Well, a lot of stuff, and I don't want to make you sad or whatever, but a lot of stuff coming up now you'll be doing for the last time at Baylor. Is there a different level of gratitude that you're taking into this last run? I mean, it's your 6th year playing college basketball. Obviously, last year's injury. It's almost like you're in a better position now to help the team, right? Coming back this year with your experience and being healthy again. But what's the level of gratitude as you do this final run?
I could never express how much gratitude I have and will have for this whole season. I think I'm so blessed to have 6 years in college, you know, and because it really is the last time I'm doing something, I don't think I'm ever going to complain about anything. I don't care if we have practice at 5 a.m. I'm excited. Like, that's how I feel about this. And yeah, I'm just so blessed. Like, I have the best coaching staff. I have the best teammates. Like, it means a lot to me. I want to make the most of it, and I will. And yeah.
Well, what's it like for a player? Because you got a ton of potential playing hoops on the court or doing whatever you want to do off it. Like, are you starting to eye? And you could still play basketball if you wanted to, right? So what are you thinking about after school when you wrap up? Like, what is next for you?
So I'm finishing up my master's this year. I'll be done in May, and that's in sport management. So there's a bunch of different avenues I could go down. I could do operations. Well, now I can't think of any of the jobs, but I could do all of them. I don't know.
You want to stay in basketball?
Yeah, I want to stay around sports for sure. I could also play overseas if that's what God calls me to do. I really don't know, but I trust that, you know, I've networked enough and I've been around and met so many amazing people who, like, just like you know, like, I'll have this connection forever. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to go. I'm full sending it, whatever I do.
What was so? I saw this video of you. You know, and I do due diligence when I'm getting ready for these interviews. And Scotty, you ready for this video? You could be an actor. Let's take a look at this. This is unbelievable.
If your CFO was hesitant to meet with you due to low OE, how could you approach with ROI?
I don't know what that means.
Well, ROI. We all know what ROI is, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, why don't...
Okay, so is that your dad and you?
Oh my gosh, no. Okay, so my dad is so funny. His Twitter is amazing.
He is amazing on Twitter. I met your dad, Tony. I was like, I don't think that's him. So who was that dude and what was that?
Okay, so his name is Dave Shirley. He's one of my dad's best friends. He's a comedian. He was on America's Got Talent. Like he's awesome. I was in a skit for one of his, I don't know, a comedy show. And we spent like a whole day in there just making videos, and it's so funny. My dad is hilarious. He keeps all these old videos of me because he loves me so much, and then he does spin-offs with whatever I'm doing now. But yeah.
So he put that together with, and it was like a montage. And this is what I wanted to ask you next about, like, you know, all academic Big 12. Right. I think you got the K-Yao award for like, what was it?
Servant leadership.
Yeah. Servant leadership. Right. K-Yao, legendary NC State coach. And then who passed away from breast cancer. And then you're one of the faces of Baylor. Like, put that other picture up, Scotty. So this is you, Linda Livingstone, is Josh Cameron. You got some superstars in that picture. What's it like for you to be one of the faces of the athletic department? Like, is there a greater sense of responsibility to that, or is it just a celebration?
Both. I take it seriously, you know, like being next to the president and Josh Cameron is pretty cool. And like, you know, representing the best college ever is pretty cool too. I'm just so lucky to be able to represent Baylor. I feel like everything that, you know, Baylor talks about, the spiritual life, anything, that's what I want to be too. Yeah, it is a celebration. I don't know. I'm just grateful.
It's the real deal. Baylor is the real deal, and so are you. All right, well, couple more things, and then I'll let you get back to your busy life. What is a little bit of like a speed round? What's something about you that people don't know? Something real positive.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
It's always hard, right?
Yeah, it is so hard. I don't. People are just like, "What are your fun facts?" I don't know.
Like, you've been asked those questions for
Yeah.
years.
Okay. Well, I'll think. Okay. People don't know that I'm Japanese. My mother, 50%, grandma full. My favorite food is chicken wings.
From where?
Anywhere. I like King's chicken wings.
Oh, okay.
Love them.
All right.
I've climbed a bunch of mountains. I can scuba dive.
See, this is good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love life, so I love to go on adventures.
What's been your favorite place to eat here in Central Texas? Of course, we know you love Slovacics. That's why
I love it. And now my dad goes every single time that he comes to stay with me in my apartment, and my mom, they like stock up the fridge. They're like, guess what we got? I'm so excited.
All right, so outside of Slovacics, what's your favorite spot to eat around Central Texas?
Probably King's chicken wings.
Look at you. Okay,
I mean, I love it. I could eat it every single day. I would be 700 pounds, but I would eat it.
A lot of protein. It's, you know, you probably burn it right off. All right. Anything else as you get anything you want to tell people about yourself? Anything, you know, going on in your life you want to share?
No, but I'm so thankful that you had me on the show again. And to everyone listening, we're working so hard this summer so that we can be the best team ever and the best people ever. So, yeah, that's about
all right. I'm gonna ask you to come back on in like September.
Okay, I will come whenever you want.
August or September. Awesome. Yeah. All right, Jana, you're the best. I appreciate the time.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it. All right, that's the great Jana Van Gytenbeek. You got to feel good about the team being in a person and player like her hands. So that's like exciting, right? If you're Nikki Collin, you got a lot of changes going on. Scotty, I mean, You're our Baylor bleeding green guy over here. You got to feel good about somebody.
Look, I wore my polo today. I showed my colors. No neutral media member here.
You got it.
We're all Baylor all day, baby.
So you got to feel good about that.
Oh yeah, of course. Listen. We've talked ad nauseum, you and I, just in our personal life.
Yeah.
How much we love Nikki Collin, how much we love Baylor women's basketball, the culture at Baylor women's basketball, the support in Waco for Baylor women's basketball. Like, that is a big part of who we are here in Waco and at Baylor. And I love hearing, you talk to any player for Nikki Collin.
Yeah.
And it's just glowing reviews all the time.
Yeah.
And I love hearing the leader of the team say, like, we are busting our butt to be the best team ever. Like that last statement she made, we're going to be the best team ever, the best people ever. I'm like, hell yeah. That's who we are, baby. Let's go. Let's go. It's so good.
A couple things I heard from Nikki Collin talking to the media, and this is like just new age college sports stuff. She said she's not worried about, last year they had a bunch of young women who were getting some dough, and they still had the most connected team she says she's ever had.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so,
you could see that on the court too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that kind of carries over, as they do have, some players back, including Jana. But yeah, it's exciting stuff. One thing that she said that I think we'll like, and this is like a Big 12 thing, she said that I think one of their new coaches has come from Kansas State or had a relationship with Jerome Tang. And she called Coach Tang about this guy. And Coach Tang called her. I think
Nikki?
Yeah, to maybe put in a good word. They had a discussion, and Coach Tang was just in love with this young man. I think he's going to be like a basketball trainer for them. It's like one of those newer roles.
Yeah.
But she said when she got the job at Baylor, Tang was at all their practices, like a lot of them, like not only learning, but also being an asset to her.
I love it.
Because of how great that change was, going from obviously Kim Mulkey, a legend, to Nikki Collin. She said she was closer just by default with Coach Tang than she was with Scott Drew.
Sure, but we all know why that is too, is because you remember what Coach Tang was doing when Scott Drew hired him. Coaching high school girls basketball.
There you go.
And that's what he was doing when Scott Drew hired him. So he's coached the women's game as well as the men's game. So
Yeah.
I have no doubt that he's an asset wherever he is to a women's team if they want to utilize him, or if he can go learn and support. Like, that's awesome, man. That's what makes Baylor special. It's what makes Tang special.
Yes,
man.
it is.
All feel good stories today.
Feel good stories. Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton especially.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to go to a feel bad story after this. We're talking about the Cowboys. We're talking about Dak Prescott. I'm going to tell you why this is the biggest football season of his life, hands down. Baylor athletes, this is great. Bear the truth. Baylor athletes are great for all professional sports. Great young people. How about that? That's our boy. Bear the truth, Brian. All right, brother. We're going to step aside, come back. Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovakics. By the way, let's give Brian a shout out. We got a lot of people watching. I mean, if you want your pets to be able to live,
let's go
in a luxurious yet what should
Brian,
we say?
let's get your logo on this set, baby.
Yeah, come on, Brian. What's it called again?
Primetime Pets with a Z.
Primetime Pets with a Z. Basically, if you need amenities for your house,
dude,
for pets?
it's
like if you need stairs for your little pup to climb up to get on your bed.
It's like the high dollar cat beds, or like the pet gates that you can put at the base of your staircase, but they actually look like beautiful furniture instead of like plastic, crappy, cheap stuff. Yeah, you go to primetimepets.com. You buy from our guy Brian.
Highfalutin over there.
Good stuff. We're both dog people. We've talked to Brian about that.
God.
Yep.
Yeah. I love my dog. All right, we'll be right back after this. Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovakics.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference, because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
The Pete Sousa Show. Man, we are, first of all, we are getting so close to football season. And a good sign for Cowboys fans and the camaraderie of the team. There's that Instagram or social media. Oh, Primetime Pets, baby. Gates Beds. Thanks, guys. That's Bear the Truth. Primetime Pets. Check it out. That's where you get all your cool dog stuff if you're just joining us. So Micah Parsons was a part of this social media trend that I just mentioned. And he called Brian Schottenheimer and wished him good night. And it's actually really funny, and it weirdly feels like a great sign for the Cowboys. Like, Micah is your leader, whether you like it or not, okay? He's one of the loudest voices in the room, and he seems like a really cool guy and is a really good quote. And for guys like us and, of course, like Matt Mosley and Edward, or who are there all the time, part of the Rogue Media family, you got to watch the Doomsday podcast. If you want to check out back episodes about the draft, they're all there for you on the Rogue Media Network. But I think it's clear that the Cowboys, at least from 30,000 feet, seem to be getting along, and everybody seems pretty happy with the Brian Schottenheimer change. And one of the reasons I like that video so much is because I was a little, my eyebrow was raised when I heard that Schottenheimer kind of retooled the way the locker room was laid out, which can ruffle veterans' feathers sometimes. You know, he kind of, I guess it's been the same since Jimmy Johnson took over for Tom Landry, and he switched it around a little. And I think that can make things uncomfortable. He's also making some structural changes on offense. So there at a point in time where there could be some tension. It seems like the Cowboys are not resisting the change. They're welcoming any changes Brian Schottenheimer has. But one guy that's really going to have to get down, they used to say this in state property, all right? Beanie Siegel, all right? There was state property 1, state property 2. Get down or lay down, right? And so Dak has got to get down with Brian Schottenheimer. And he's got to figure out how to have the best year possible, because if he does not, I truly believe that the Cowboys not only could move on from Dak Prescott, right? Like last year, he had 11 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, 3-5 in 8 starts. So when we look at the Cowboys' body of work last year and we say, well, they lost their starting quarterback, guys, he wasn't playing that well. Like he was not. And in order for, we're going to bring Scotty in a second, but this is my real feeling. Like in order for Cowboys Nation, which is obviously really important to us because we care about fans, we are fans, but also the Cowboys organization, like everybody is so in on Dak right now, whether you like it or not, you're attached to this dude. And, you know, he needs to not only make the playoffs, but probably win a game in the playoffs. And by the way, a lot of people don't have the Cowboys going to the playoffs. So it is a huge, huge year for Dak Prescott, to the point where if the Cowboys even make the playoffs and lose in the first round, the team could be looking to move on from Dak Prescott, judging on how he plays this year, right? I know Scotty did some really good work last week breaking down quarterbacks in the NFL and quarterback tiers. And one of the things that he shared with me, because I was on vacation, I didn't see the video he put up, was that, you know, Scotty can be a bit of a prick. I mean, he's always got to really lower the sledgehammer. And if you're a Dak Prescott fan, which really I'm not, this could be seen as offensive. Basically, Scotty has Geno Smith above Dak Prescott in quarterback rankings. So you look at that and you say, okay, what the hell does Scotty Swingler know? Well, apparently he knows a lot, because Pro Football Focus put out their quarterback rankings after Scotty, and they have Geno Smith ahead of Dak Prescott. And they actually have him further ahead of Dak Prescott than even Scotty did. And Scotty is admittedly a Dak Prescott hater. I didn't want to go that far, but that's Scotty has said that himself.
I don't resent you for saying I'm a Dak Prescott hater.
What about being a prick?
I wear that label myself. I do resent you for saying that. I think most people would say I'm kind, but I have strong sports opinions.
I got to do. We got to mix it up here a little bit, you know. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton and Dak Prescott are very hot button.
They get very opposite reactions from me,
but both of which you're probably pleased by the public opinion on both situations right now. Obviously, Halliburton is being celebrated.
I will be pleased if Halliburton gets his flowers if they win. I will be furious if they win the finals and I still hear how he's not a superstar.
Oh, you will, because people are idiots.
We've done that today.
But with Dak, as a Cowboys fan, you move into this season, like, do you understand? Like, are you of the same mindset that I am? That like this is make or break for this dude?
Yeah, dude, and you know, you didn't even mention this because I
mean, he's almost 33 or 34.
Yeah, and you didn't even mention this factor, Pete, because we're trying to be sensitive and kind, and we don't wish this for anyone. The injury thing is a question now.
Yeah.
Like, if he gets hurt week 3, it's like, I hate to be like, dude, you just let him walk, but like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, I love Tony Romo. That's what happened to Tony Romo. Tony Romo could still play, but he could not stay on the field.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like that phrase, availability is your best
ability.
Bingo. Yeah. Like Dak, there's questions not only about his play on the field, which is, I'm so glad you pointed out, because I said this last year and people balk. He did not play well last year.
He didn't at all.
And I understand.
They were constantly digging out of a hole, and I know the defense was part of the problem.
The defense was bad. He honestly, outside of CD Lamb, did not have any help, like weapons-wise. They have addressed that. They've addressed the offensive line.
Yeah.
Defense, we still don't know, but they've addressed the offensive scheme. Like everything's changing this year offensively from last year.
Yeah.
And so if he can't produce again, you have to ask questions about his play. And if he gets hurt again, it's done. Like this would be the 3rd or 4th time he's like missed serious time to injury.
But by the way, too, before we get to some comments, I would even hit harder on what you said. Like, I'm sorry to throw out like any grace or maybe like an emotional connection to the situation, but like an injury is what it is. Like that's part of the tightrope that Dak Prescott is walking this season. If he can't stay healthy, that's just as bad as having a terrible year, right?
Yeah,
like
it
really is, because he's at that point in his
especially
career.
when you've made the financial investment that the
Exactly.
Cowboys have made in it.
Yeah. And by the way, he's 32 this July 29th. Same birthday as my brother. I didn't know that. And also he has to play well. And some people I've even heard people say, but not folks like Werder, who I really trust, or Mosley, but like, they want to see him make it to the NFC Championship game. I mean, yeah. I would almost say that's unrealistic.
It is. It is this season. But
So-
but here's the thing. It's unrealistic in my opinion because he is playing quarterback.
So what? So you're pretty hard on him, and
Very. I have been for a long time.
What? So
I've been saying for 3 years now, the Cowboys need to draft the next guy and let him be under Dak for a year or two.
What
and
is?
they haven't done it.
What is the bar that Dak needs to get over this year in order for him to come back next year with that job solidified? And hey, we're really happy with our quarterback situation. We're moving forward.
I think it's
with
multiple
Dak.
benchmarks. You have to stay healthy the whole season.
Yeah. You can miss a game or two. I mean, I'm being technical. You can miss a game or two. Go ahead.
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
But like you say a game or two, if it's any more than that, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like you gotta prove you can play a season.
Yeah.
I think you have to make the postseason. The NFC is really good. Your division is really good.
Yeah.
Like I just as a Cowboys fan struggle because it's like, dang, Philadelphia and Washington are on it right now. Like those are two of the 5 best teams in the NFL, you could argue right now.
Yeah.
So, but I still think you're the Dallas Cowboys. The standard is at minimum you got to make the postseason.
Yeah.
And then, in my opinion, I would be asking questions if we don't win a game in the postseason, and that might be too high a bar. But Cowboys fans, we did it with Tony Romo. We're doing it with Dak Prescott. Like, even in the seasons when the Cowboys have been one of the 3 best regular season teams in the NFL, doesn't mean anything if you lose in your first playoff game. It doesn't. I'll tell you, if Dak stays healthy and wins a playoff game this season when the NFC is so deep, that would cause me, who's been kind of off the train for 4 years, to rethink it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he can do it.
Okay.
I don't.
All right, let's do what we're going to close with one more thing. Scotty has a Chris Broussard hot take from I don't know where.
Here, let's address Bear the Truth first because he's chiming in on this a lot.
All right, what does he say?
And then you can get to my Chris Broussard take. I love that was the comp. That's so funny. First of all, he when you were saying they need to move on from Dak, he said move on already. So I think Bear the Truth, longtime Dallas Cowboys
Bear the
fan.
Truth, are you a Cowboys fan or a Bears fan? You
both.
work for the Cowboys. You're from Chicago. You used to buy lemonade from Walter Payton or whatever, but I need to find or sell Walter Payton lemonade. So I need you to answer that.
He pointed out that Dak's QBR last year was 45.3. I would tell you that's unacceptable. And then he asked this, Pete, and then I promise I'm not avoiding you calling me out for my crazy take. He asked this. I wanted to bring this up to you as well. Netflix announced they're doing that Jerry Jones Cowboys special. Is that must-watch TV?
Oh, absolutely. Even though it will be a documentary.
I was going to say, I think Jerry's probably got too much influence on it for it to be really spicy.
Look, bro, I had to recalibrate last night. I watched the first episode of the Alex Cooper, the girl from Call Her Daddy.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing. And I'm such a sucker for that stuff. It was an hour long.
Oh, you love your reality docs.
I do. I can stomach them. I can get through them, even if I know that it is a filter that we are seeing this person through. The Alex Cooper one was amazing because as somebody who was involved with college sports, like her college coach at Boston University legit sexually harassed her. At least and they're pretty much lay that out in the doc. So that was super interesting in the first episode. I don't know if it'll have legs, but that being said, if I'm watching that, of course I will watch something that is right in my wheelhouse.
Oh yeah.
Because it looks like they're going to chronicle, Jerry's whole deal. It's called The Gambler and the whatchamacallit.
I just hope even if it's through a pro Jerry lens, which it probably will be, I want to hear him talk on, and he will talk honestly about this because he's done this in the media. You came in, bought the team, you had that crazy dynasty in the early 90s with the triplets and all this, and you haven't gotten close since.
Yeah.
And I know that grates on him. I know it grates on him. I know it grates on the fan base. But I want to hear some really, really insightful perspective on that.
It's scary. Guys like Jerry Jones and James Dolan in New York, they're very scary because the money train is coming in so fast and furious that they can justify making decisions that are just absolutely bananas. I mean, bananas. Just like the Knicks are doing with their coaching search. We're not going to get to it today. And just like we've seen Jerry do it time after time. I want you to take us out of here with your Joe Milton should be the starting quarterback for the Cowboys.
Well, you just blew the
Well, give me why.
No, I need a whole segment for
that. All right, we'll do it later.
Bottom line, and I've been texting some buddies about this for a month or two now. So they have known this is coming on the Pete Sousa show at some point. I really like Joe Milton. The more I study Joe Milton, the more I look at Joe Milton next to Dak Prescott in practice, the more I think about what his potential is. I am almost on the train of, by week 5, Joe Milton better be starting for the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh.
And we can get into that another day on the
I
Pete
feel like
Sousa show.
I've just gotten in a time machine, and it's 25 years ago, and Ron Jaworski is talking about Tom Brady over Drew Bledsoe, because I can remember that. I've watched the film. This is it. He's the guy. Brady's the guy.
Well,
now.
I'm not Jaws, but that's funny.
Jaws is the man. All right, that's it. We're out of here. We will see you on the Pete Sousa show tomorrow. I'll be in Philadelphia for the first 2 days of the show next week, going home to see Mom, so that's all good in the hood. And, we're stoked, man. Jana Van Gytenbeek, thank you so much. Remember, like and subscribe. Clips, interviews, content. Check out the Pete Sousa Show YouTube page. Appreciate you guys being a part of the fam. Thanks, Lovacics, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyer, Sikora Family Ford. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.